All right, SFL. It's me, Gee, and I got Will with me today.
What's up, guys?
Uh, let's go ahead and start talking about these trades. We had a lot of them this week. I believe we went over this Kenny Pickett Ryan Tannehill trade last week, and then the big one came in between myself, Rob, and Gary immediately after the show ended. Is when this trade got done. Um, So yeah, I think we did a lot of talking about this in the chat because it was a three-man trade and people were going all over it. But essentially, what ended up happening is we've been bagging on Gary about the fact that he had like five actually startable running backs and no wide receivers, and he needed to do something about it. And then he called me because he really likes CD Lamb, and he said he wanted Tyreek Hill. Let's be honest, he wanted Tyreek Hill. Um, but I'm not going to trade Tyreek Hill. That's not going to happen. So he was like, I either want Tyreek Hill or CD Lamb. And he's like, I'll do CD Lamb for any of my running backs. And I'm like, okay, I want ETN. And I said, but I don't want to do this trade unless I can get a wide receiver back. So let me get back to you. So then I went to Rob and I want Ayuk and I'll give you Damian Pierce. And he's like, okay, I want Damian Pierce, but I don't think Damian Pierce is enough for Ayuk. So I was like, okay, well, you reach out to Gary then and try to get some compensation that will make it work for your end because Gary and I are working on this trade. So then Rob went ahead and made the three-way trade offering for Gary, and Gary thought it was good enough. He really wanted CD Lamb. So that's what ended up happening. Rob got Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce, and he gave up Najee Harris, Brandon Ayuk, and Jalen Warren. Um, Ayuk went to me, Jalen Warren, and Najee Harris went to Gary. I gave up CD Lamb and Damian Pierce and got back um, ETN and Brandon Ayuk, and Gary got himself CD Lamb, Jalen Warren, and Najee Harris. Uh, and people did not
Yeah.
like Gary's side of this trade, apparently. What do you think about it, Will?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I mean, they after the week before, obviously before the trade was made, they hadn't really got him involved. This game, the last game, they were force feeding him a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
he got chase numbers as far as catches and targets. I think it's a good trade for that. But listen, he gave away two premier running backs for you know, non running backs. I mean, Jalen Warren is the starter there right now, but they're kind of split in time. So he lost two running backs. Granted, he can give up two running backs,
He
but I would
can.
think that ETN is worth a lot more.
See, the thing
So
that I think I take away from this is maybe he could have gotten more value. I can understand
mhm.
that side of the argument, but I think his team is actually better now. His team is legitimately better now than it was before. He desperately needed a wide receiver. He couldn't start all those running backs. I don't think Joe Mixon is. I think it's name value more than anything at this point.
Mhm.
I agree that Najee Harris and Jalen Warren weren't enough for Joe Mixon, probably. But the matter of the fact is, he wanted CD Lamb, and CD Lamb has been underperforming to what he should be performing. I honestly do think the Cowboys' offense only works when they have him involved and they have to get him involved. So I don't see them continue to underutilize him for the rest of the year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, I think the ETN to CD Lamb is good. What I think that obviously Rob got what he wanted out of his other side of the trade, but he is right that Ayuk for Pierce was a little bit harsh, and so that he I know he was looking for something more. Hopefully, he feels comfortable with what he got. But I think that you killed it on this trade in that you got two guys now with Ayuk. We heard from injury report Debo is probably not going to be back this week. He's still suffering from that shoulder. He couldn't even lift his arm. They said
I don't know if that helps
during
Ayuk.
the game.
I don't know if that
Why
helps him.
wouldn't you think it's going to help Kittle?
I
Because
I,
that's
I
about
think it's
it.
going to hurt the offense. And if it hurts the offense,
Yeah.
it gives them less chances to score touchdowns. Like Ayuk is already the third down guy, right? Like on third down, but watching these 49ers games, it's third down. Purdy's gonna throw to Ayuk. It's just he's
Hmm.
already that guy. He's the trusted dude. I don't think Samuel being down gives him more targets. I don't think it makes Ayuk get more targets. I just think it makes the offense worse, which is bad.
Well,
That's
it helps me out if McCaffrey's okay, because it means that
maybe.
Debo's not going to take those little runarounds and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, listen, I think that you had the better trade on this side. I think that obviously we'll see with the CD Lamb, but CD Lamb is a target machine, and we saw that last game. So it does help Gary's team out. So I agree with you in that perspective. I think that you got the best end of the deal because I think ETN now the number one back 100%. Tank Bigsby is not getting any really good play, so that's a 15 to 20 point score every single week. So,
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about ETN is he's getting a lot of touchdowns, and it's like
mm-hmm,
maybe he doesn't continue getting those touchdowns, and then he
possible.
doesn't look as good as. But yeah, I think we went over this pretty well. The next trade that we had was the Zach Moss Mac Jones trade. We talked about
The
this a
family
little bit.
trade. The family trade. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, we talked about it. Mac Jones, obviously dumpster fire, and of course Zach Moss might not be getting the run that he would get share touches
still
with
got 20 points,
JT.
but he only got
Yeah,
7 carries. Oof. Yeah,
yeah, he's
yeah,
a bang, a Buster Boom kind of running back now because of his speed.
yeah,
We'll see, especially now with the Minshew's the starter for the rest of the year.
yeah.
So, Richardson's not going to steal those runs, so they might run more,
Maybe.
with Moss. And maybe we'll see.
And then we had Sam Howell. These just went through the Sam Howell DeAndre Hopkins trade. I'm so mad nobody cucked Holden for this. I would have loved to see somebody go in and take DeAndre Hopkins and make Holden have 5 quarterbacks again.
Well, and the funny part is this is the third trade DeAndre Hopkins has been in the season.
He started
So,
with me. He went to you. He went to Victor, and now he
that
went
was
to
fourth.
Holden.
Oh yeah, sorry, Victor's yeah. So yeah, so three trades with DeAndre
3 trades,
Hopkins,
4 teams.
and DeAndre Hopkins had a terrible week last week. That
Mm-hmm.
offense with Malik Willis, whew, we'll see what that happens. But
Yeah,
Sam Howell, it's
it
a
was his
big thing
first
for
week.
him.
He didn't practice as the starter. Like
Yeah,
normally when backups come in mid-game, it's normally not a good thing. I mean, they need you know, I don't know. Can it honestly be worse than Tannehill? Like, how much worse than Tannehill can it be?
I mean at least Tannehill throws the ball. Malik Willis usually runs. He
Yeah, yeah, that's
just
true.
gets frantic. But I don't know. We'll see.
That's
We
true.
will see.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Sam Howell's actually been a good quarterback this year,
He has been.
which
He hasn't started him. He's been wanting to start him, but he's been so skittish with those other quarterbacks he
yeah.
has that he doesn't want to. Um,
I mean,
and
he
I
had
kind of
that
bailed
one
him out.
terrible game against Buffalo, but other than that, that those are some good stats.
Hmm. And I kind of bailed him out because he has two quarterbacks on the bye. He just traded his one, so he only had one quarterback. So he needed a second quarterback or a fourth quarterback, I guess you'd say, because he only had one quarterback playing. So he reached out. He sent me the trade offer, and I was like, Joshua Dobbs, who has had decent games
Yeah.
every once in a while, didn't have a good game last week. He's been scoring 15 points, 16 points on average. And he's going to give me George Pickens. And I know Johnson's coming back from injury, but Pickens is and what's his face are just on a chemistry wise.
I
He's
mean,
getting the
Pickens was
targets.
a great pickup for Dobbs. Like when I saw this trade go through, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I didn't offer it. I didn't say anything to him. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, I just get this trade. He didn't say anything to me. Trade comes in, and I was like, Dobbs for Pickens. Like I was thinking, I'm gonna reject this trade. Right? I'm rejecting this trade. Holden sent me a trade that I feel like
It
I was like, it's I already. But then I looked at it, and
was actually a good offer. Like I
I was
what?
like, wait, he wants Joshua Dobbs for Pickens. Like Cam Akers is a throw in,
Hmm.
right? And I was like, I'm not going back to the well and messing this trade up
Yeah.
for for just Akers. And I was like, I'll make that trade. Madison gets hurt. I'm in even better shape. So he's not getting a production really. It's really now I've got two running backs in Gibson and Akers that are just injury handcuffs in a way. So whatever. Not a big deal. I'll take it and I'll take Pickens and start him this week.
All right, let's go on to our waivers real quick. Where do we start? Right here. Zach Evans for $20 for spreading the disease, 3 claims. It looks like he's going to be the starter over there in the Rams. But they did pick up Royce Freeman and Miles Gaskins as well to their active roster, not even like practice squad. Like those two guys went up to their active rosters. So we'll see if they take away any volume from Zach Evans. But I mean, in my opinion, Kyron Williams is not that talented, and he's been getting a bunch of points on that offense. So Zach Evans is probably going to be great for a couple weeks.
And such a close waiver wire. I mean, Audi with 18
Mm-hmm.
to almost grab that. So good
Mm-hmm.
luck, good for Victor going just a little bit more.
After that, I picked up a kicker. I picked up Malik Willis. Completely, nobody went for it. You got Luke Musgrave. Nobody went for it. I would like to keep him. I just have 500 tight ends on my team, and I can't ever pick the right one, so I had to drop
And
him.
I'm still in the under now that if Aaron Jones plays, which I think he will, I might actually not have Luke Musgrave. I might just go get somebody else because
Oh
I
yeah,
don't really want to rely on two Green Bay players
yeah,
this week
yeah.
um, in general. But we'll see. I don't know. I thought he was the best one of the group that was out there because I don't have a tight end. My tight end's on the bye. But we missed one that was Tyrod Taylor. Got $24.
I mean, if you
To,
want a tight end, we can probably work something on. I have 3 guys. We can.
that's possible.
I
But
can swing one of them to you for some fab or something.
okay, that'd be good. Gary took up Tyrod Taylor for $24, um, and you know uh, they haven't even said if he's out 100% yet. Being
It's a neck
Jones.
injury. I don't know. Like
Last time I
that seems
saw was
something
he
like
was doing better. He was
yeah.
feeling better, but in general, Taylor for $24 is kind of rich. But he looked, as far as the people coming in backups, he looked like the best. And he always is the best because he's an actual quarterback
Yeah.
compared to all these other guys. So we'll see if that helps him out. But yeah, everything else was kind of just a bunch of little ones.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start us off here with our previews of, or not previews, but recap of our games from last week. We have me versus you, um, and I actually got my first win of the week or of the year.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm 1 of 5 now. About goddamn time. You only scored 2 touchdowns and still scored 174 points, which is very respectable. Uh, I had 7 touchdowns. You got carried basically by Adam Thielen this week. Monster game, 11 receptions and a PPR. It's fantastic.
Well,
Uh,
he's also this is the third week of 30. He's the number 2 receiver
yeah,
in
it's
fantasy
so
right now.
crazy. It's so crazy. Such a steal. Um, he's actually been a gigantic reason why your team's been so good, I think.
No, 100%. And McCaffrey getting hurt didn't help, and then Gino and Baker both not throwing for a touchdown.
Yeah,
300 yards, no touchdowns for
yeah,
Gino.
that's brutal.
So, I mean, that was it. Obviously, I get 2 touchdowns. It's a 1 point game, and
Yeah, the only
we're
reason why you
looking
don't
at.
win is because of throwing touchdowns.
Hmm
But that was really it. Your players didn't get touchdowns was the reason why you lost. I mean, you could have started Carter Samuel instead of who could you have set?
No, nobody. Nobody on my receivers. I could have started Dobbs over Baker. That was the only one.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, nothing.
That was it.
Yeah,
Everybody else, because I didn't have another tight end on the bench, so
yeah.
yeah, everybody else did what they have, and I was still would have lost by 8 points. So I couldn't do anything different, really.
I tried to get cute with my tight ends, and I couldn't pick the wrong one. Try to get cute with my kicker, pick the wrong one. Like I, I suck so bad.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Tucker one, I was surprised. Like I saw Tucker hitting those field goals. Um, was that Thursday night they played? And I was like,
yeah,
or
maybe.
whatever it was, and they were playing. I was like, who has Tucker? He keeps hitting these dang field goals, and then I
Yeah,
looked and I saw he was on your bench. I was like, okay,
he's been disappointing me because that Baltimore offense sucks.
yeah.
There was
Yeah,
so much
100%.
hype going into the season. Oh, they're gonna throw the ball more. It's like gonna be a different offense. No, it's ass. That
Hmm.
like and I don't know. All right, what game you going
Well,
to?
I'm going to go the Campbell Soup game. 191, 182. An actual good game. I think that this was um, all that Kim could give for her team. Her team is in struggle bus right now with injuries and just lack of depth on her team. Tyler Boyd playing, of course, helped. But she couldn't trust Tyler Boyd because Tyler Boyd, I think, has had like 2 or 3 points the last 2 weeks altogether. Beckham might be hurt. We'll see what that happens. But, overall, she had a solid game, having, what was that, 5 touchdowns. Audie had 5 touchdowns as well. But, his Allen to Diggs team won the league, won them the game, obviously. And, his team is just better. His team is a better team. Now he loses a running back with Williams out,
Yeah,
so he did pick up somebody. But at the same time, that's going to be his weakness looking forward, it looks like.
yeah, it's rough. I was this my game of the week last week?
No, I think your game was the Kyle one. Kyle
Kyle,
and D. No, it was it Kyle and D. No, it was
Kyle and Dylan.
Kyle and Dylan. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me go over to the Elderly Gang versus Spreading the Disease. Victor, 3 touchdowns and somehow only scored 100 points. Uh, I think is probably because both his quarterbacks got hurt. I'd imagine that's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why he scored so little. But rough. Holden had a great week, top scorer of the week. Got 8 touchdowns. Both his quarterbacks went over 35. Derrick Henry finally showed up. I mean, 20 points from a good number of his wide receivers. Bucker had a game. Yeah, Holden's team is looking decent for these last couple of weeks. I talked some shit about his team, but it's actually starting to look pretty good. Uh,
Well, Jonathan Taylor's that pick
yeah,
before. It helped him a lot. He did lose some depth. He's gonna have giving me Pickens and for this week, and I know he's got some people on the wide. He's got a lot of people on the bye because I play him this next week coming up. So we'll see how he does this next week without Henry, without Prescott. That's gonna be a big thing for him. I'm gonna go over the game of the week. Yep, you already pulled it up. Game of the week, which was the crappiest game of the week,
yeah.
127. I mean, Kyle had no production again from his skill positions. His quarterbacks are giving him all his points, and his skill positions can't give him anything. Wilson finally got 21, which is something that he hasn't had in a while. He's been in the 15 range. Higgins didn't have a good game because it went to Boyd, and then Adams, I mean, I don't understand Adams not getting any catches or any targets really either, and he had nothing really on the bench to help him out. And
Garoppolo got hurt, but I mean, you
he did.
figure Brian Hoyer would still target Adams.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
didn't
mean,
Adams like get popped really early in the game?
he did get hurt for a little bit, was out for a little bit, came back, but he probably wasn't,
Maybe that
good
affected
enough
him.
afterwards. It probably did, and Dylan's very lucky he played Kyle this week because at 152-3 he would have
Right.
lost to almost anybody. He had 5 touchdowns to Kyle's two, so again another 2 touchdown game from somebody in the league, but only 127 points. So Kyle's team seems very touchdown dependent, very quarterback dependent, and you know we thought Dylan's team was the monster after week 2, and with injuries and everything else, it's going to be
Injuries
interesting to
and
see.
Nakua coming back down to earth.
Hmm.
At least he's got
So
Kareem Hunt. Maybe he plug Kareem Hunt, but I mean he has got 2 good running backs too. So I don't even know
yeah,
who's
well,
gonna go over
he's
there.
he's he's going to need some help going forward, I think, to make that big run.
I gonna go over here to the Gary versus Rob game, Martial Law versus House of Priapism. Gary with only 3 touchdowns, just like you, very low touchdown numbers. He still scored 174 points. Rob had 5 touchdowns but 157. So this is the weird one where he had more touchdowns and lost. And the big reason for that is the Dollar General stack finally let him down. Uh, Justin Fields got hurt early in the game, left the game with only 7 points. Um, and he had some duds like Jerry Judy for only 5 points and stuff. Just teams got some touchdowns, but the actual yardage and usage was not there. Whereas on Gary's side, his team did all right. Just lacked the touchdowns. That's really, should be more than 174 points. But it was a low scoring, low touchdown week in the NFL in general, I feel like, this week.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah, respectable game for Gary. Like I said, CD Lamb, 25 points. This team really needed this. This team really, really needed that. And you can argue he could have
Hmm.
gotten more value or whatever, but his team is actually significantly better, in my opinion, than it was before now with this trade
Oh,
because
100%. And you look at Rob's team's injuries have really affected his running back room. Obviously,
yeah.
now getting Pierce and Mixon is gonna be a big thing as far as without Gibbs and everybody else.
hmm
So um, hopefully that means he's up for a run. But you know, didn't like to see him losing this week because I don't like him getting closer to me being Gary. And then the last game of the week, which was another not close game. I thought for sure I thought D was going to win this week, but his core production, he's got the worst quarterback in the league in Russell Wilson. And so, Russell Wilson again, another really bad game.
hmm
Ridley didn't have a good game for him, and Devonte Smith had a better game, but still really underperforming for his team. So overall, if you look at the one thing that you know Jordan didn't do as well was he needs a tight end. His tight end situation is pretty weak, and Pat's going to be back for him and Freeman, but we'll see what that happens. But looking at it, he had 4 touchdowns. Sorry, Jordan had 5 touchdowns to D Haas's 4, so he did beat him in the touchdown game, which is really different to the game.
It
So
really was 6 points. That was it.
So, but overall, I mean, I think these two teams are. I mean, I think Diaz is better than expected. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence plays on Thursday. He's kind of questionable to play. If he has to start Minshew and Russell Wilson, that's going to be a tough week next week.
And then let's go over next week. So we got a request from Dehas that we should go over these games real quick. So let's try to go over these games. Let's try to go over them fast. So my first game is
Okay.
here's myself versus Constant Diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this. Bryce Young, Garrett Wilson, Higgins are all out on a bye. Um, so Kyle's gonna struggle this week, and I don't have anyone worth of any. All my players are up. All my players are active. I think this should be a win for me. I should go to 2-5. Kyle should go to
I would like
five and
that.
one. Or 5-2. Next game,
Oh,
Martial Law versus Spreading Disease here. Uh, Rob is on the buys. Buys and injuries is on the Rob side here.
mm-hmm.
But he's going up against a significantly worse team than his. What do you think on this one?
So, I mean, it's obviously what about Garoppolo? If Garoppolo plays, is he a starting option? But right now, only having one quarterback, and I really feel like this is the week that Watson's going to have a game. He hasn't. He's kind of been very slow. I think Watson could have a big game for him with Love, that connection. And so I see. Oh, I see. He's starting Hal. That's my bad. He's got two quarterbacks. But either way, I see he's going to win this game. I think Victor takes it pretty easily this week with all the injuries and everything else.
Next game, we got the Magic School Bus versus the Erectile Dysfunction with a Lollipop. And the only major bye week is CJ Stroud, which is actually a pretty big one for the Magic School Bus. He's got to play Badgent, which just picked up off of the waiver wire on that second quarterback spot. And then on the other side, we're missing David Montgomery due to injury and Watson potentially due to injury. We don't know if he's going to play or not.
Was Matt Jones' pickup is going to help him there, hopefully. But this is a big game, I think, for Dylan because Dylan has lost. Well, he did win last week, but he lost the week before me, and he kind of got lucky this past week playing against
Kyle.
Kyle. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big game for Dylan to make make his team make it show make back to where he was week 2, where he's the dominant team. And it's not saying he's going to win this week, so it's going to be a tough week.
It's gonna be a tough week. Debo Samuel also still hurt. So yeah, even though I like Dylan's team, he hasn't been performing to his usual standards, and the injuries are gonna hurt. And unfortunately, I think Jordan wins this one. Even though I'm rooting for
Hmm.
Dylan because I kind of need this to be a 3-4 there for my personal selfish reasons. And next game we got Campbell Soup versus Loud Noises. Loud Noises is projected to win right now. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence may not play on the Loud Noises side. He's got Miles Sanders on a bye week, but he's still injured, so that doesn't really count that much. And Nico Collins and DJ Chark are the bye weeks on the other side for
And that's
Campbell Soup.
Deku Collins has been a big one for RL this week, this whole season. So putting in Bourne, who actually had a good week last week, but I wouldn't trust that offense, especially against Buffalo.
In
So
the
it'll be
rain,
interesting.
potentially, too,
Yeah.
if we can trust
So
this little umbrella.
yeah, I think overall you've got a rain game. He's got 3 players in it. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, this is definitely the game of the week for me. Uh,
Mm.
both teams 4-2. Um,
I'm
it's
hoping
two good
Loud Noises
teams.
wins.
Yeah.
I need it.
I think he's gonna win. I'm not. I don't. I think Loud Noises wins, but AB has been fielding some great teams this year, or some great weeks. So we got Chalupa Vagina 2 versus House of Priapism. Gary's, as usual, has got his team on the bench, but the projected here is 144 versus Kim's 111. She's got some bias. Cooks,
Yes.
Boyd, Hubbard, Pollard. The running back situation is not good.
No, I don't know who she's starting. I mean, you're gonna start Penny. That guy, he doesn't
Yeah,
even play.
yeah.
Um,
She needed to
yeah, I
put
don't.
some.
She's gonna have to do some waiver wires.
She needed to go into the waiver wires, or maybe a trade. But
Hmm.
like, she could have gone after Zach Evans. Probably. It would only went for
Hmm.
$20. Um, yeah. This is not good. I'm gonna go with Gary. His team is significantly better now. And Chalupa's got some bye weeks that I don't think she can make up.
Yeah.
And
Well.
very last game, uh, we got Big Truck Little Willie versus Elderly Gangbang.
Hmm. You know, he's got Henry and Prescott on the bye, which is helpful. Um, Harris is out with a concussion right now, so I don't know who he's gonna start there at the flex. Probably either Mooney or Moore. Probably more like Moore, but you know, Moore without maybe Hopkins again, or whatever his name, Deshaun Watson again, or Mooney with a backup quarterback. That's a pretty tough position. And my thing is all about questionables.
Yep,
Mayfield's going to play, but it's really about McCaffrey. Does McCaffrey play? Do they put him on a count? I don't know.
yep. And that's the thing, right? You don't have Adam Thielen this week, and then
Or Chase.
and you got three questionables on there. So yeah, I don't know. I still think you win, but the injuries can really come back and bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm hopeful that I know Aaron Jones has been practicing all week, so he should be playing. So it's really about if he doesn't play, I might just put Samuel in for McCaffrey and just eat it if he does play and plays well.
yeah, all right. Anything else you want to say to the gang? Well,
No, no, um we're almost halfway through, right? Week 7,
mm-hmm.
getting almost week 8. Obviously, there's 17 weeks, but still. Wait, well, week 7 is the halfway point of the season, right? Because we
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 go to
start playoffs
14.
week 15.
Yep.
Yeah, so halfway of the season. So you got the standings out real quick. Um, you know, at 3-3, where I'm at right now, that's sixth position. So that means that who's seventh right now? Seventh is
Be a
the
two and
winner of that
fourth.
division. So
Or
you
is
you
there
got
another 3-3? There's another 3-3 team that would probably make it.
True. Yeah. Well, so right now there's 3-3 teams. I'm the best 3-3 team, but I'd probably be number 7 because you give it to Chalupa right now for being
Yeah,
the winner of the division. But really, in reality, 3-3 is playoffs.
yeah.
So, you know,
Well, it
got a
gives me hope.
really.
It gives me hope.
It does. It's got a very competitive league. I think that Gary's going to make a big comeback. I don't think, unfortunately for Rob, I don't think Rob or Victor
No,
or have a chance. I'm so sorry to say that, but their teams are not in the best places right now. So if they lose this week, it's going to be tough. I think you have a chance because I think your team's getting better at the right time. So possibility,
getting healthy.
long shot.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that long of a shot. I mean, the computer does say I have the second best roster in the league, so you
There
know,
you go.
we'll see. I just need to get. I just got unlucky at the start. I just need to get lucky at the end. That's all it is.
That's right.
It's possible.
That's right.
Alrighty, Ed. SFL. You guys have a good one. Peace.
All right, see you.